some soccer now. Caleb, this is something that's been near and dear to your heart, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm going to let you have the floor here.
Yesterday was a sad day for soccer fans in the Bluff City. It was very sad. You can hear it in my voice. Memphis 901 FC is headed west. The rights to the team being transferred to Santa Barbara, California. Is that a better city than Memphis? Is it? I don't know. The biggest reason being the inability to secure their own stadium. 901 FC lost out on getting any of the $350 million in state funding given to Memphis for stadium renovations, which meant that building a soccer-specific stadium became virtually impossible.
Got a chance to see what the team actually had to say about this. We collectively share the disappointment of our supporters and the Memphis community as Memphis 901 FC's franchise rights transition to Santa Barbara. So many people have poured their hearts and souls into the club, including Tim Howard, and to everyone who helped build this organization. We will be forever grateful. So really disappointing. Like Caleb, you kind of said it. You had the nice little exposition in our emergency pod yesterday. But for this team, for the city, soccer has kind of taken a major hit.
Yeah, and it's sad because of how much it took to get this here. And it makes you think they're going to have to do that and more to get a team back here. Professional soccer started out in around 2016 here in Memphis with Memphis City Football Club. Now, it's not the same ownership group that owned them, but that was the spark. They played games at Christian Brothers High School. That morphed into basically a third division USL team. I think it was essentially in the USL PDL. So we went from Christian Brothers High School, they went from Christian Brothers High School to Christian Brothers University. Played games there, and that's when that ownership group bought in, got the funding, and you see 901 FC in 2019. Not a great start for the campaign, not a great start for the club overall in 2019 and 2018, but then they got it together and made 4 straight playoff berths. And you know from covering another USL team, Rachel, in El Paso, it's not easy to keep that streak alive. And this team was putting results out on the field, but people weren't really showing up. And Memphis is a tough city to have people show up to non-Grizzly games, right? We've seen it with the Tigers.
Tigers basketball.
Yeah, Tigers
football.
Tigers football, Tigers basketball. Tigers football go and lose 2 games. People aren't going to be going to these games. Now, please come out to the game against UAB on Saturday. It's senior night. That would be amazing if we had a good turnout, if the team had a good turnout overall. But Tigers basketball, too. We saw it last year. They go on that losing 4 games in the conference straight, and people just didn't show up to the games. Memphians are, and I'm from Memphis, and so I've seen it my entire life. And we saw that a little bit with 901 FC. It was the new thing. People wanted to go there, even if they weren't soccer fans, go there, take pictures. That's great. Ja even smashed the guitar. Yeah. Like, can you believe that? You look back, like
Ja Morant at a Memphis 901 FC game.
Ja Morant at a Memphis 901 FC game. And since then, it really deteriorated. And Tim Howard was kind of the glue that I felt like stuck this team together. You saw the principal owner, Peter Frund, sell his shares in his club in England, Dagenham and Redbridge, earlier this year. And that was the first red flag when I saw that and told y'all, maybe he's trying to get out. And so maybe that factored in as well. I'm not going to say it's all on the management. I don't think that 901 FC was the best run club in the USL, just based off of what I saw. They did well to get players, but their sporting director did a great job. Caleb Patterson-Sewell was the assistant sporting director. Stephen Glass, the manager, comes in, highly regarded manager, does a great job of getting players in here. So it's not necessarily the front office that is doing this. Stephen Glass has told me multiple times they created this club with very little money. Now, it's hard to find budgets in the USL. Compared to other leagues, so we don't know exactly what their budget was, but I bet it would shock you. I bet it would absolutely shock you. They were very smart with this, and so to see all of that hard work kind of essentially go to waste. Now, Glass is going to get another job, but you look at some other players, Tyler Derrick, the goalkeeper, he was probably a year out from retiring. Seemed like he liked living in Memphis. His career's probably done now. You look at Knight Pickering. Yeah, it's tough. I hate it.
Yeah, it's a really sad day, or yesterday was a really sad day for the city. I mean, just to lose your professional soccer team, like, it's gone. And there's obviously a chance that they do get another team back, but that's probably well down the line. And we know for that to happen, there's going to need to be a stadium built, and those funds just don't seem to be there for right now. Obviously, there is a chance of that in the future. I think you mentioned the fans, and that's obviously a really sad part of this is, yes, there wasn't packed stadiums for every game going on at 901 FC, but the fans that were there were so loyal and so
Very
dedicated.
passionate.
I saw, I had a few people DM me on Twitter saying how sad they were about the team no longer being here, which, I mean, it takes something to go out of your way to DM some random reporter and be like, I'm really sad that this is happening.
Yeah.
But then the other thing I saw is there's one particular fan, he said his kid was getting ready to go to school yesterday morning and said, can we start putting Christmas ornaments on the tree already? And the dad was like, yeah, sure. And they went and put a 901 FC ornament on the tree. That was the first ornament they put on there. That team no longer exists.
Yeah.
And that kid's now like, hey, this team that I grew up loving and following, it's just gone. It's evaporated into thin air. I think we knew that there was a potential and a chance for this, and obviously we knew that a stadium needed to be built in the very near future for them to have a future here in the city. But I don't think any of us, I mean, Caleb did say this really out of pocket one day. He goes, this could be the last season of Memphis 901 FC, about 2 weeks ago before their playoff game. And I said, yeah, right. I was like, as if. I was like, I know it could potentially come, but it's not going to happen right now, overnight. And then overnight, it happened.
The thing about a lot of this was the USL put out that mandate that they said it was a moving goal, more or less, but they wanted to have all their USL teams in their own soccer-specific stadium by 2026. So you thought there might still be some wiggle room a little bit, especially because that was kind of a moving goalpost. It's almost like if you were moving towards that goal, there was some wiggle room for you there. And what we saw in some of the statements that were put out between Memphis 901 FC and the Redbirds as well, and the USL itself, was that there were so many avenues where the USL and the team tried to get a soccer-specific stadium in Memphis. And actually, the Redbirds in particular, in their statement, said that they had pushed. They had lobbied. They went to Nashville and lobbied for the money, the $350 million that that the city of Memphis eventually got for those stadium renovations. And then what happened was they got all that money, the $350 million, and the Grizzlies came in and the Tigers came in and kind of swooped some of that money up. And let's not pretend that we don't know where the priorities are going to be for Memphis. The Grizzlies are an incredibly important part of what Memphis has become. And so if you lose that team, or if they're disgruntled and could threaten to leave, you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that team is okay and settled. And ultimately, it just kind of felt like Memphis 901 FC fell short and got the short end of the stick in that regard. And certainly sad, wishing all those players the best, Coach Glass the best. We enjoyed working with all those guys. Caleb Patterson-Sewell, the assistant sporting director, he kind of became the impromptu sporting director there. We'll miss Memphis 901 FC in the city for sure.